Hello, Shalom Aleichem. Welcome back to another installment of this semi-regular series, Parsha Q&A. This week's Parsha is Parshat Tisa. That corresponds in your Bibles to Exodus chapter 30, verse 11 through 34, verse 35. This video is being prepared for the Jewish reading cycle for the year 5779. If you find this series to be of any to be useful to you, if you find that it assists you in your learning, I wish you would consider subscribing to this channel. Click the bell icon if you want updates. If you feel that this series or any of my other series are worthy of your support, I wish you would consider becoming a patron over on Patreon or making a small donation via PayPal. You can find that information in the information below. Okay, so let's begin. So what's the question for this week? Somebody asked me, and I've actually been holding on to this question for a few weeks, for a good while now. They asked, what's with all the horned Moses images in medieval art, Renaissance art as well? What's with that? Where does that come from? We can expand that. Where does this idea, this anti-Semitic idea, come from? That Jews have horns. On the face of it, it seems pretty ridiculous. But nevertheless, it is a myth that persists that Jews have horns. If you ask old-timers, they'll tell you that they were harassed. I've known people who say that they've had their yarmulkes snatched off their heads because they heard that the Jews grind their horns down, they cut their horns off, and they cover their heads in order to hide the fact that they've removed their horns. So this is still something that's with us. It boggles the mind, but this is still something that people believe. Okay, so where does it come from? Well, first, let's look at some iconography. Here's a famous statue, Michelangelo's statue of Moses. You see that Moses is presented with horns here. Very interesting. Here's a medieval manuscript of Moses receiving the tablets of the law. Here we see that he's represented as having horns. Here's a panel in a church depicting Moses with horns. He's labeled here in Latin, Moses. So we see that it is a thing, that this is part of sort of the Western iconography as to the image of Moses. Okay, so where does it come from? Well, the Vulgate, I'm not going to torture you with my Latin. I've been learning Latin, but I'm not going to torture you with reading it. I'm going to draw, this is the Clementine Vulgate, one of the later recensions. Go and look at this verse, and you'll see there's the term cornuta. Cornuta is horned. It's an adjective describing something as horned in Latin. Okay. So I did some looking, and this verse is virtually unchanged from Jerome's Vulgate through the various Clementine recensions. So that is this is more or less the same words that Jerome penned in his translation. Okay, so we have the Douay-Rheims Bible. That was a Catholic Bible, an English translation of the Latin. It was produced in the 1600s. I believe the Old Testament was published in 1609, 1610, something like that. And it says, "And when Moses came down from the Mount Sinai, he held the two tablets of the testimony, and he knew not that his face was horned from the conversation of the Lord." So somehow or another, Moses got horns, according to this. So, of course, if you consult any of the modern English translations, you will see nothing of this. Much like I was found it interesting. Much like in Protestant circles, how there's a sort of ever-present KJV only movement. Apparently, in the English-speaking countries, amongst Catholics, there is a small but devoted Dewey Rhymes only Bible movement. They don't accept any modern translations. They only like this one translation, which, of course, as you can see, well, I haven't explained it yet, but you can see is at the very least interesting. Okay, so how did Jerome get it wrong? What word in the Hebrew did he get as cornuta, which ultimately became horned in the Dewey Rhymes? Okay, so let's do the Hebrew. It says over here, V'yihi, this is again verse 34:29 of Exodus. Okay, V'yihi beredet Moshe mehar Sinai, and it was when Moses went down from Har Sinai, Mount Sinai, Ushnei luchot ha'edut biyad Moshe, and the 2 tablets of the law were in the hand of Moses. Beridato, when he went down, min hahar, from the mountain, Moshe lo yada, and Moses didn't know, kikaran or panav, that his face shone, that his face was radiant, or actually it radiated. This is a verb. This is in verb form, karan. So his face, the skin of his face shone. Yeah, vidabro ito, within his speaking to him, or with his speaking to him. So karan is a verb. It means to shine. Comes from the Hebrew, the shor's 3-letter root, kuf resh nun, shine. Obviously Jerome got confused, and he saw this word, and he said, aha, that is the word Karen. Same root, but different meaning altogether. Kuf resh nun, Karen, with different nukudot, it means different voweling. It means a horn. So Jerome, when he read this, he read ki Karen, or something like that, panav, that his face was horned, which of course is ridiculous. Clearly, this is in Paul form. Third person masculine past tense, his face shone. Okay, so that is how they arrived at the horned Moses. It's a fascinating book on this topic. If you are into medieval art, history, thought, these sort of topics that I'm very into, it's called The Horned Moses in Medieval Art and Thought by Ruth Melankoff. To my knowledge, it has not been reprinted. It was published in the 70s, I think actually 1970. My copy is quite worn. I enjoy it. It will be down below in the description. I'll include a link to Amazon where you can find this book. So if you're interested, perhaps you can find it at your local library, or you can purchase a used copy off Amazon. Okay, anyway, that's that, excuse me, for the horn to Moses. We see that it simply was a misread of the Hebrew. Now, this misread had tragic ramifications. You know, this sort of libel, this myth followed the Jews all along through the medieval period, and assisted those in European society that wanted to cast the Jews as being somehow not human, as being monstrous, devilish. So this is how this myth originates. So we see the importance of knowing your Hebrew. So anyway, that's what we're doing here. We're teaching Hebrew. So just go ahead and keep learning. I hope this video has been beneficial. Kol tuv, haslach harava. Keep learning.